Hi, my name is Lucy Kite. I'm going to Barnard College in the fall, and I am an intended human rights major, but that may change as I take classes there. I think it is very overwhelming, but I think as long as you manage your time and manage the amount of schools you're applying to and don't overwhelm yourself, I think that it can honestly be an enjoyable process and it doesn't all have to be negative. Yeah. And it's just so important to do what you're passionate about and not think, oh, like I heard someone got into this college by doing debate, so I'm going to do debate. It's more important to do something that you're passionate about. Yeah, well, I have family in the UK, so and my sister goes to college in the UK. So I was very aware of the process of applying to college here and going to college here. I'm the first student of my family to go to college in America, so I kind of honestly understood the process of applying to colleges in England more than the process of applying in America. So it was kind of something that I knew I always wanted to do because I love visiting here and being here. And I started working on that essay much later. And I honestly applied to English schools after I applied to American schools because I had the application date is so much later than American schools. It didn't apply till January. And I just really knew that I wanted to be abroad. I think now, even that I'm going to Barnard in the United States, I know I still want to study abroad. And I think that if you have ambitions to go abroad, maybe I think it's always worth chasing because I did get into some amazing schools in the UK that I really considered. And I think that it's nice to have options to do something that's kind of out of your comfort zone in a way. So yeah, I think that it was something that I always knew I wanted to do, and I'm really glad I got to do it.
You actually got admitted to some pretty stellar schools. I mean, how did you make your decision on Barnard and like what was that
Um,
process like?
well, Barnard was kind of always my dream school in a way. It was the one school I considered applying early decision, but applying early decision was just too much of a commitment for me because, like I said, I wanted to go abroad, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I got into an early decision school. I think I really focused on myself as a student instead of I tried to ignore prestige, which was hard because I mean Barnard's a great school and I knew that it would be a really great fit for me and having the ties to Columbia. I just like it kind of like it was like just making I got like starry-eyed thinking about it, but I knew that I couldn't base it all off of prestige. So I kind of went back to the kind of student I've been throughout high school and I thought about what methods worked for me in the classroom and what worked for me during extracurricular activities as well. And I decided that I just meshed better with a liberal arts education and having small class sizes and having class discussions. And I really researched the academics of both schools. And I just decided that I was a better fit for the liberal arts education at Barnard. And I also liked the opportunities that offered me. And I went to an all girls school for high school and I really enjoyed that environment. I even talked about it in some of my essays. And I think that it was something that I didn't really want to let go of when I graduated. And I realized having that in college, while still being in a big city like New York, would really just give me everything I wanted. So it kind of was just like I did the pros and cons and I decided that Barnum was the right fit for me. Yeah. I think that definitely resilience is something that I've always been taught. I think that high school is really hard, and it's hard when you get that first bad test grade in high school. And I think that it's really important to be taught resilience because I think that if I wasn't taught that, I would have not even applied to a school like Barnard because I would have thought it's over. I don't have the option anymore because of that. So I think being resilient, being ambitious, I think my parents never limited me or told me that there was something I couldn't do, which I think is also something that's just so important in high school because, and just in life in general, because it just kind of makes you fight for what you want and really like I think one thing that's so important about the college admissions process is advocating for yourself and kind of like advertising yourself. And I think if you have ambition and you have confidence, it can kind of help you do better in the college admissions process because you're showing them and telling them all your good traits and everything that they should love about you. And I think that it's just so important to have that ambition and dedication and just drive. And I think that that was always instilled in me by my parents. Yeah. Yeah, so as my intended major is human rights, I always had a passion for volunteer work. And I also really enjoyed leadership in high school. So I'd say that outside of the classroom and outside of the school environment, I was really involved in volunteering. I worked with the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network for a long time during high school from my sophomore year to my senior year because that was a personal connection that I had. And I think finding extracurriculars that are personal to you really helps show your passion when you're writing about them for your college essays. So that was something I did. Yeah, just a lot of different volunteering. I did the Even Jean Black summer medical program because I'm very interested in public health and doing that kind of just like broadened my knowledge of medicine and stuff like that. And that was a really amazing opportunity. I did a bunch of leadership roles at my high school. I was part of the Future Voters Club and did a lot of things about like pre-registering to vote in the 2022 midterm. So I think that, yeah, just things that kind of connected to what I wanted to do in general and what I wanted to major in college. I think I got even more involved in my school community during my senior year. I created a computer science club that kind of was made to help bring women into STEM because I was noticing there was a lower percentage of women at my school that were pursuing STEM classes. And I thought that that was just something that wasn't good and wasn't great for the community. So I did that. And I think that that also really just like it helped connect me more with my peers and connect me more with a field that I didn't really have a lot of knowledge of before. And now like I'm thinking about doing a computer science minor in college after doing that. So yeah, just that, those are the kind of things that I did outside the classroom, among other things that, I mean, I'm a really big reader and I think I wrote my college essay about reading. And I think that just having like little hobbies in high school is so important, and like things that you don't do to like put on a like a resume are so important, and reading was that for me. And I always thought that it was just something that I just did for myself, and once I actually started writing and drafting my essays, I realized that I was so passionate about it that it was the only thing I really wanted to write about for my college essays. And I think that, yeah, just having those little hobbies is so important. So that was mine, and it honestly played a big part in my college admissions process. So yeah. The constant like interaction between like me and the counselors and getting to constantly have feedback on my essays and things like that was really important. And I also think I can't express enough how important it is to start the essays early. And I think having that help from the counselors like put me in such a good position because I had friends who were like November being like, I don't know what I'm going to write about. And I was already done with my essay. And I think that having that connection with the counselors was really amazing. And I think just having help, being guided and not being like told what to do, and instead having that guidance was amazing because I got to choose all of my topics and I wrote all of my essays, but I had help in ways that like just made the process so much easier, like having help with like grammatical errors in my essays and stuff like that, and not having to worry about things like that. I think that the counselors really made it that the college admissions process was more about me like focusing on like the big picture, and they help with the little picture things like making sure there's no typos in my common app thing, and like and just like that kind of stuff was just so helpful because you don't realize how much you have to do during the process, and having someone to help me kind of like manage the workload was just great. Like I feel like having a private college counselor helps you bring like some like fun into the like experience instead of it just being like stressful. Like getting to kind of like draft my essays and think about it with like passion and creativity was it was just something that I knew I wanted. And I think that I kind of wanted a third party to help me because I think it's the more voices that you have during the college admissions process, the better, because you're writing things and you don't know who your audience is going to be. So having people read your essays that have a complete like who don't have any bias, and just reading your essays to read your essays and help you is like was something I really wanted because my mom's of course going to say she loves my essay when she reads it, but I think having someone like read it and like show me like true feedback was just something I knew I wanted, and I didn't know if I was going to have that if I didn't get help. So yeah, that was something that I wanted. Yeah. I had always been interested in public health and political science, but I was interested in doing it from a different route. I didn't just want to do political science, I wanted to do something that would help people. And the idea of studying human rights was something that just always seemed really like interesting to me because I was so interested in public health, and I could Barnard is a very like it's a very flexible school. It's not like you have to major in this and you have to take these classes. Like a lot, you can take a lot of electives and stuff like that that count towards your major, and I knew that I could have a focus on public health. And I think that like my passion for like major, because I applied to a lot of schools as a public health major, that kind of came from things that I'd gone through in high school and things that I'd witnessed, and I think it those things kind of made me want to better the system that I was spending so much time having involvement with. So